All right, guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. It is Tuesday, April 18th, 2023 on a Tuesday. I think I said Tuesday already. Ready, back at it. My apologies for running a little bit late this morning. Was finishing up my breakfast and coffee. Time got away from me. My apologies, but here we are live again for the Morning Note at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every morning here on the YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Please, we were trying to get to 10,000 subs. We're right around 8,600 now. So again, appreciate you guys hitting that subscribe button. Hopefully we get to 10 grand by the end of the year. And if not, just hit that like button or share these videos. If you like it, comment any of your questions. Awesome. Thank you guys. Good morning, Zoom Balloon. One of our favorite follows or favorite friends here, Zoom Balloon on the live chat. Appreciate you guys as always. Dow futures up 24 points, NASDAQ up 92, S&P up 0.42%, the Russell up 0.51%. Treasury yields now 3.6% on a 10-year basis. The dollar 101.82, down 0.27%. What does that mean? Stocks going higher. We're keeping an eye on the dollar. The VIX 1691 at 0.24% to the downside. We're starting to get to some extreme levels. This is where, again, we talked about. You buy insurance when you can, not when you need it. Crude oil down 0.16%, relatively flat. Oil's not much going on until we break 85. $2.74 for gasoline futures, down about 0.97%. Gold futures 2013, up 0.30%. Thank you, dollar. 25.18 for silver futures. Copper futures $4.08. We also have the euro dollar up 30 pips, pretty much coinciding with the S&P up 109.57. Dollar yen is down 134.19, down 28 pips. 124.31 for the pound dollar, that is up 52 pips. And Bitcoin futures again hold that 30,000 support. 30,410. We're still looking to get to 35K on that gap fill. And Ethereum 2,120, up 1.5%. We did have earnings this morning. We had Bank of America and Goldman Sachs. So again, what we're looking at here is regards to the banks of how did they handle the SVB issue, right? And I still have JPM calls. We are now in the money Discord team, just mind you. JPM we have the 140 calls. We are in the money. Let's see what we get this morning. We were 30% yesterday, right at the open. I didn't even get a chance to close. I think some of our team did, but I did not get to. So we got as low yesterday, I think to around -7% or so. So I gave everyone the option, hey, if you want to close and lock in, flat, that's fine. But we got a nice earnings report from Bank of America, which got us a little higher. So we're about 60 cents up. We were as high as 31.14 on BAC. Nothing really to trade there. Here's the main issue on the Dow. Goldman Sachs, there was a gap to fill here on Goldman Sachs at 332.71. Right now, we're kind of holding the 200 hourly MA. In terms of the daily, we're at 328 or so. Well, we're still above the 20. So again, there's still a relative uptrend in terms of Goldman Sachs. So let's see what we get in terms of a bounce play. I was looking for the same for Google. I opened the 108 with Masterclass as well. So again, looking to fill this gap here, 107.57 on Google. Google's up about 12 cents this morning with the market higher. We also played AMD yesterday. We played puts. Thankfully, we got out. You can see that the stock is higher. We had the 88 puts. We got out pretty solidly right around this area. And then you can see that bounce. So at least AMD, we're done with it. I didn't even leave a runner on that thing. I was just happy to get out. So again, Bank of America earnings. Let me see if I can get that number. I also sent that out on Instagram. Bank of America earnings. Thought I had it here. Okay, I didn't. Let's go ahead and see on Live Squawk the earnings for B of A. Did we just get housing starts? We did. Okay, I just retweeted the housing starts. Housing starts 1.42 million, and that's a beat. Building permits were a miss, 1.413 versus 1.45. Housing starts down 0.08%. Expected was negative 3.5%, but the permits, which is a little more of a leading indicator, that was down negative, down 8.8%. Let's see, expected was 6.5% to the downside, or negative 6.5%. Goldman Sachs beat on the top, but they missed on revenue. So they missed on the top line. The bottom line they beat. So again, there's an $8.79 EPS that beat 821 estimate. Revenue 12.22 billion versus a 12.8 billion. So that's a miss. Loans was a beat. Their biggest issue here was really the Marcus loan portfolio. I don't know if you read the news yesterday that Apple started a new savings account. So again, the savings account is provided by Goldman Sachs, I believe. But even that savings account through Apple, I think it's only for Apple Card users, 4.1% or 4.2% on a savings account. That's actually higher than the Marcus savings. So kind of interesting there, but Goldman Sachs seeing some weakness. Bank of America did beat 94 cents versus 81 cents. That's a great beat. 26.26 billion revenue beats 25.32. They beat on trading revenue. That's Merrill Lynch. And net interest income did beat as well. Total deposits 1.11. What is it? The total deposits 1.91 trillion. Wow. In terms of what's moving this morning, Microsoft's up 1.35% this morning. Nvidia's up 1% this morning. That's what's standing out, at least pre-market. Apple is also up this morning, about 0.63%. Amazon, Google's relatively flat. Meta's down. JPM up about 0.15%. That's the only call I have open for signals. And we're starting to move a little bit. Hopefully, well, I was hoping for a little more of an upside boost so we can gap up higher, but we didn't get it. Hey, good morning. Is it true that ChatGPT can predict the highs and lows of the market? So I was actually on ChatGPT yesterday and I was kind of messing with it. And it says there that it doesn't have live data. But then Bloomberg says that they will have live data, that they fed it some info regarding the Fed, and it was doing some models. But I don't think ChatGPT can predict the future. I think the market is too irrational for an AI to even quantify, in my opinion, because it's still buyers or sellers. Let's take a look. Young Danny's asking about Microsoft. Let's take a look at it. Microsoft is up this morning. I have an alert at 292.53. If that breaks out higher, then we can play that gap fill here, guys, are right around 295.52. I hate to play that because that's so close to the money, but we could probably catch the 295s. Who knows how much they'd cost, but wait for that break of 292.53. That'll be above. Then we'd have to get to around the August highs. The problem with Microsoft is that we are getting close to resistance, but so is the S&P 500. 4,200, still 5 points below. The VIX starting to get very, very stretched. Here's where we're going to start looking at some puts. Once we get to 4,200, we'll see if we get a little higher to 42.44. I doubt it. I think that will sputter a bit, and then May will be a little bit of a chop fest where we just may get back to around 40.54 or 40.15. Again, still not an investable market. You really need, in order to confirm this move, 42.50 or so, but we are not there yet, or 42.40. So again, I'm starting to see possibly we're starting to take a look at some puts to the downside. Once we break 4,200, let's see what we get. Hey, well, hey, Carlos, good advice on the Microsoft calls yesterday. Would have been rough holding through that to the morning. Yeah, it was just chop fest, Trev. Sometimes you just got to take that profit. We did the same thing with Google on Friday. I mean, this is what happens. I didn't even leave a runner for those Google calls, and they got smoked on just some headlines that they had. 60 Minutes and then Chat AI and with Samsung on their browser as well. It's not going to be Google anymore. That's the report. It's going to be Bing, Microsoft. So imagine that. You make the operating system, but you don't have the search engine. Interesting. But that's reported. That's not, I don't know if it's completely accurate either. There hasn't been any official word from Samsung either. But again, it would cost about Google about $3 billion. So that would be a hit to the bottom line, obviously. But see those headlines, they can happen like that. When you see profit, a good amount of profit, just take it, man. Hey, holding an extra 10 minutes is not going to make you a millionaire either. So again, it's when you see the money, just take it and run. Well done. I'm so glad you took that trade, man. Thoughts on Tesla upcoming earnings? Oh, tough. IV is going to be expensive. So the Tesla report is today, and I have no idea what to expect. It's a stock that can just go either way. I can give you two scenarios. You have a gap to fill at 145.80. You also have a breakout above 200. Get above 200, you have 213 as your resistance. That's your 200-day MA. What could happen with Tesla? I mean, you're stuck really in a range. If you extend it out, it looks like it's a cup and handle formation. If you zoom it in a bit, you could see here on the 1 hour that you still got a downward trend. So it's kind of like pick your poison, man. I think the best bet is just to sit out and not trade the option. Unless something starts moving, finally, maybe, and you want to get out same day, but it's so expensive. So it's a very binary setup where, it's red or black on the roulette table. Would you hold off on SPY puts until OPEX? It depends where we close. If we reject this and come back down and we did not get to 4,200, and as long as we hold 4,150, it's still a choppy area. They just keep buying the dip. That's what I've been seeing, just buying and buying the dip. Again, we know about the liquidity push from the Fed. That's where you're getting those buy the dips from. When liquidity goes up and the Fed is putting money in the system, stocks are going to go higher. When the dollar's down, stocks are going to go higher, at least for now. I'm not holding off anything just because of OPEX either. It's just that I want to see us break 4,200, and then we can start taking a look at puts and how interesting they may be. I would target the 4,150 level. That's been a magnet. I tweeted that a couple of days now. That 4,150 level just seems to be holding right here. So again, if we can just kind of play that, let me see if I can extend this line here. Give me a second. 4,150. Let me extend it to the right, and I'm going to extend this to the left. I know there's so many lines on the S&P 500 futures. Again, here's 4,150 right there. That's the line I have for the next put once we break 4,200. But again, I got to see where we close. Depending on the close today, if we get continuation higher, we get to 42.44 or something crazy, yeah, then puts are probably going to be a lot more in the cards, but rather quickly. But if we get a slow melt up, then we're just going to have to wait and see, man. Took just 100%. Well done, Trevor. Well done. That's what I like to see. Good job, man. But again, Microsoft's up today too, but those premiums probably took a hit. So, it's one of those deals that you just have to manage risk, man. And you have money right in front of you. You take that thing every day and you enjoy yourself. And hopefully you get yourself something nice because you deserve it. Well done. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and leave it there. Not much to talk about today. We do have Tesla earnings. We have Netflix earnings. I would not touch any of those names. But again, if you are so inclined to take a look at Netflix on the hourly looks pretty bad. There's a gap to fill at 325. There's a gap to fill at 294. I took a look at the premiums for puts on the 295 side. They're very expensive for really just the IV, the implied volatility. In terms of gap fills, we still got one at 350. So it's kind of like, which one do you want to do? Do we fill any gaps today? Do we get a run up into earnings? Do we get a fall into earnings? Who knows? Who knows? But we're right at the 20-day moving average. Something has to give on Netflix, but I'm not touching either one of those. We'll just keep an eye. If you wanted to trade one of those two names, but you don't want the full exposure, you can take a look at Qs. If you break 321.60, the next level up will be about 323. Well, is there a gap to fill? No gap to fill. About 330. So you can possibly look at that, but again, your risk reward, you're starting to get to real big resistance here on the August highs. So just tough, just really, really tough. And I think you're just going to chop us today until earnings, guys, if I may be completely honest. Puts your calls at 4,200. Is there a gap to the upside? 4,200 S&P. Let's see if there's any upside gaps. There is not at 4,200. 4,200 is just a key level of resistance. There's no gaps there. But if we go to the weekly, I mean, you could see just a continuous win streak for stocks. Eventually, it does end. I don't think that's the investment thesis, but get this, guys, right at the 100 weekly moving average. We have not broken that since September, so that's what I'm going to be watching. That weekly 42.06, right at 42.06 is where I'm going to be taking a look at puts. How's that? If that makes sense, Conrad. Thanks for you guys following and watching. Have a great rest of your morning. I will catch you guys tomorrow for the morning note. I will keep you guys updated on Twitter today for all the earnings. Keep it locked there. And just be on the watch out for any kind of those bots out there that try to pretend they're GAR Capital on Instagram. There's so many of them. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM on Instagram. That's at CEO GAR Capital with the blue check mark. That's me. Have fun. Have a great rest of your day, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.